Hello everyone, today we will be walking you through the game Jeremy, Mariam and I, Alana, have created called Elysius, the Age of Salvation. But before we get into the details of that, let's take a step back and go back to the beginning. What is play? According to Johann Huizinga, the definition of play is as follows. Play is a free activity standing quite consciously outside ordinary life and is not serious, but at the same time absorbing the players intensely and utterly. It proceeds within its own proper boundaries of time and space, according to fixed rules and in an orderly manner. This is what we are hoping to achieve with Elysius, the Age of Salvation, a game where players become wholly absorbed while navigating through the constraints of its rules and mechanics. We had decided to create this board game since Elysius was already a fully fleshed out narrative world that we had created in a previous class for a video game. So we thought, what would be a better opportunity to try and actually make our game a game? Yet, in crafting Elysius, we encountered the challenges outlined by Simon Nielsen, which are that if we understand games to be a system of rules, we risk obscuring the way games tell stories. This was a problem we had faced since we wanted to preserve the intricate details of our narrative world while simplifying it into a coherent set of rules for gameplay. Striking a balance between complexity and accessibility was paramount, aligning with Nico Lazzaro's 4 types of fun theory, where we aimed to tread the delicate line between hard fun and easy fun. Thus, our journey led us to forge an effective game design that harmonizes both the structure of rules and the narratives they spawn.
As mentioned before, our game Elysius, the Age of Salvation stands as a sequel to Elysius, the Origins, crafted by another group. While their narrative delved into the creation of Elysius, our focus shifts towards its salvation from the grips of malevolence. Within our game, up to 6 players set out on a journey to traverse our story world, assuming the mantle of reformers, the leaders of each nation. Thus, they take on leadership roles over designated territories in their quest to reclaim and rejuvenate the land granted to them at the game's beginning. As our narrative unfolds, the world grapples with miasma, a malevolent force both encircling the nations and infiltrating their very essence. Central to this lies the corrupted scepter, a once potent artifact steeped in formidable magical powers, now tainted by the forces of darkness, making the player's main objective to shatter the sinister hold of the scepter, regaining a dawn where purity reigns once more and the scourge of miasma dissipates from the realms of Elysius.
The game's main theme revolves around fantasy, complemented by a secondary theme of strategy. It falls within the hobby genre, blending strategic depth, resource management, and area control mechanics commonly found in Eurogames. However, it also has a strong thematic focus, as players find themselves drawn into the world brimming with ancient mysteries and age-old conflicts. From the verdant forest of Ferox to the hidden underwater haven of Helvin, each corner of Elysius resonates with its own unique magic and history. The game is set eons after Elysius, the Origins, where the gods created 7 nations and established them. Our game follows the events that take place after the Dawn Harvest Festival, where the Sentinel, an authoritative figure within the game, corrupts the scepter, plunging the realm into chaos. The pervasive miasma wrought by this corruption stifles magic and disrupts travel, casting a pall over the once thriving lands. As players navigate this tumultuous landscape, they must contend with the consequences of the Sentinel's actions and strive to restore balance to Elysius. The game board features 7 distinct nations, 6 of which are playable, while the 7th serves as the ultimate conquestable territory coveted by players. Each nation embodies a unique facet of Elysius, offering players a glimpse into the rich tapestry of the game's story world. As players fight for control over these territories, they are working towards dispelling the miasma that engulfs them. Successfully unlocking these areas not only aids in the restoration of Elysius, but also rewards players with valuable resources essential for their quest.
Our game is designed for players aged 16 and above who enjoy immersive and complex gaming experiences. Although it may be challenging for newcomers initially, its depth and richness promise a rewarding journey for those who are willing to delve into its intricacies. It is ideal for enthusiasts of both mass market and hobby games since our game strikes a balance between accessibility and depth, catering to players who appreciate strategic depth and thematic immersion. Our game appeals to enthusiasts of exploration and RPG games, offering a visually stunning experience coupled with rich fantasy lore. With its immersive world and captivating narrative, it's sure to enthrall RPG lovers.
Our game is a turn-based strategy game divided into 3 distinct phases, each offering unique challenges and opportunities for players. In Phase 1, players must conquer regions and accumulate resources. This phase occurs simultaneously with Phase 2, during which players purchase combat cards crucial for Phase 3's final showdown. The game begins with players randomly selecting a nation card to represent their nation. They can then play a game of rock, paper, scissors to determine the first player. Each player starts with 4 of each of the resources stone, metal, and wood. These resources can be exchanged for coins, useful for conquering regions or purchasing cards. To prevent resource depletion, during the first 2 phases, each player receives 2 of each resource at each round's end. Players can take up to 2 actions per turn, such as moving to and conquering a region to gain its resources or buying combat cards. The cost of unlocking a region depends on the number of types of resources present. Players can also purchase combat cards to use in Phase 3. During the first 2 phases, 5 combat cards are always face up, and each purchased card is replaced by another from the stack. Combat cards have varying costs depending on their point. The antagonist scepter, boasting 25 celestial bounty, represents the game's ultimate power. As players conquer regions and collect elemental relics, they gradually reduce the scepter's power. Upon unlocking a nation's last region, the player acquires that nation's relic, which grants bonus resources and allows the removal of 3 celestial bounty from the scepter. Phase 3 is a strategic card game using the cards purchased in the previous phases. Each card has distinct strength and speed stats. The active player calls out one of these stats at each round's start, and all the players select an appropriate card to play. The players with the highest stat wins all the cards. In case of a tie, the card with a higher elemental power wins. If a player runs out of cards, others continue playing until they're done. At the game's end, players tally the points on their cards and the highest scorer wins and removes the final 4 celestial bounty from the scepter.
According to Jitnux, 23.12% of millennials prefer to play strategy board games. This statistic shows that board games are becoming more popular among this generation and that they are a viable option for those looking for a fun and engaging activity. Moreover, the impact of successful titles like Scythe and Bharata extends beyond mere popularity. For us, both of the popular board games were a source of inspiration in our journey to create a board game with a similar depth and appeal. By observing their influence on the broader gaming community, we recognize the opportunity to contribute to this dynamic landscape. In determining the pricing for our board game, we conducted a thorough analysis of comparable titles within our thematic niche. Bharata and Scythe were priced at approximately 450 dirhams and 430 dirhams respectively. Meanwhile, the Dungeons & Dragons series offers a range of games priced between 200 to 400 dirhams, catering to various preferences and budgets. After careful consideration of these benchmarks, we made the strategic decision to price our game at 200 dirhams. This pricing strikes a balance between accessibility and value, ensuring that our game remains competitive in the market while offering an attractive proposition to prospective players. As I mentioned before, we drew inspiration from successful titles like Bharata and Scythe for the development of our game. Upon closer examination, we discovered that Scythe had been crowdfunded on Kickstarter, contributing to its remarkable success. Impressed by its achievement, we've decided to follow a similar path and launch our board game crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter. We believe that this platform offers an ideal opportunity to engage with our community, showcasing our vision and bring our game to life with the support of passionate backers. Let's now go deeper into our game's strategic positioning with a SWOT analysis. Our game boasts a rich and immersive fantasy world that not only fosters strategic thinking and healthy competition, but also offers replayability, all meticulously crafted with attention to detail in its resources. While our game offers depth and requires constant strategizing, its complexity and the need to understand terminologies may deter some players, especially those seeking a more casual gaming experience. Since our game was initially designed to be a video game, we have the opportunity to expand into the digital media with video games, TV shows, and so on. Threats. There are many similar games to ours in the tabletop gaming market.
In conclusion, Elysius: The Age of Salvation is more than just a game. It is a testament to our commitment to crafting immersive experiences that inspire, challenge, and captivate players. With your support, we look forward to starting on this journey together as we forge new legends and shape the destiny of Elysius. Thank you for joining us on this adventure.